good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good middle of the night, whenever you're watching this program, and welcome to another scintillating episode of Porch Talk. I almost said the wrong show.
Good.
I, of course, am Paul W. Marino, and my partner over here to my left and your right is the one, the only, God. No, he's not God. He's Eugene Michaelenko.
That's me. And Paul?
Lately, I'm lucky if I can remember who I am half the time.
But I see you got a haircut.
Yes.
I did too.
Oh, wow. So, pardon me, before we get going, Joanne, would you please put the picture that's behind us in front of us? Oh, well done. So, we have a killer of a quiz. This is actually a reenactment of a particular incident that took place in North Adams about the Mohawk Trail.
Oh.
Now, I will accept a couple of answers for this. One is, what year was this reenactment? Another possible answer is, what particular event is this reenacting? And a third possibility is, what was the occasion? If you have an answer to any of those three questions, or even think you do, or are willing to take a stab in the dark, no, don't turn off the light and stab your husband or wife. Come over here and stab one of us. No, I mean, please give us a call at, what's the number, Joanne? Thank you. 664-4408. And if you can give us the correct answer to any of those three questions, you can have bragging rights until the first Friday in June.
Oh. Can I guess later on? Can I be a contestant?
Sure.
Oh, okay. It's not limited just to the audience.
Okay, so Joanne, you can put us in front again. Oh, the poor audience having to look at us again. Well, I do feel a need to talk a little bit.
Talk away. Talk away.
Yeah, I'm
talk
sorry
away.
about last Friday.
Me too.
And probably the Friday before. Did we do a show then?
No, you were away on the first Friday, and I was here, and we had technical difficulties, but they've been resolved now, and we're back
one
in business.
reason I was away was I went up to the emergency room, I forget what for, and they found, among other things, that, oh yeah, my sugar was astronomically high,
That's
400. Yeah, and it's strange, it didn't feel that high. But at any rate, I also had a urinary tract infection.
Oh, that would suck.
So I was at the hospital for a day and 2 nights, and then they sent me to North Adams Commons for rehab. And I just got out 2 weeks ago, Friday.
Oh.
And
You see anybody you knew up at the North Adams Commons?
oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I've got to go visit Joan Powsey's up there, and I
Yep,
forget who else
I
is
saw
there.
her, and Bill Sweet,
Oh,
the
Bill
guy
Sweet.
that does the models
Yeah, the
of
bicycle.
buildings.
He used to
Yeah.
ride a bicycle everywhere.
And Doug Greenlaw is up there as well.
I know the name, but I don't know the man. Okay.
So at any rate, I got out 2 weeks ago today, and it was a 3-ring circus because before I left, I was told, you have an appointment today at 1 o'clock. And I went to the nurse's station and asked, who's it with? Oh, it's with the ostomy clinic. Well, I was supposed to be discharged at 11:30, but I was actually ready earlier, and they called a taxi for me that never came. And then finally we called a taxi from Williamstown, who was there in 15 minutes, got me home. I dropped off my baggage, went and grabbed some lunch, which I scarfed down in a hurry, drove down to Pittsfield, arrived 2 minutes late. And I had to park across the street and then hobble across the street, got inside. Oh, they're not here anymore. They're in the hospital on the 2nd floor. So I had to hobble back across the street, got in the car, drove up to the parking garage, parked on the 2nd floor in a handicap space. And then I had to go through the tunnel, which was hot, got there, no admittance to the hospital on this level. So I had to ride that little elevator that only goes between the 1st and 2nd floors, then down that long passage, and I asked at the desk, where is the ostomy clinic? And she told me 2nd floor, but wait, they needed to take my picture and issue me a visitor's pass.
Right.
And so I went to the elevators, got up there, and I couldn't see the sign. And I asked someone, oh, it's down this way. How can you tell? Oh, it's on that white paper that's on the sign. You know, so there in smaller print is ostomy clinic this way. All right, so I went that way, went down that little ramp, ostomy clinic this way. I went that way, and then ostomy clinic this way. And I was starting down that hall, and a woman who looked like she worked there came along, and I said to her, ostomy clinic. And she said, oh, the ostomy clinic, is that where you wish to go? No, I'm only asking for the fun of it. And I didn't actually say that to her. Someone stuck their head out the door and said, in here.
So they were hiding.
Oh. And then on Monday, was it Monday? No, yeah. Well, at any rate, Monday, I had a 1 o'clock appointment with my primary care.
Oh, you had one? Oh.
Yeah, so I got to the hospital early and rode the elevator upstairs, went down the hall, and then toured their office. And all the lights were off, and there's a sign in the window, CHP is no longer here. They're now in Adams.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I heard about this.
So I had to turn around and go back, ride down, hobble off, and that's even with the walker, because I had smaller wheels on it then. And anywhere there's a bump or a dip in the pavement, it stalls. So I got down to the car, went to Adams, and found my way in. And the girl, when I told the girl I have a 1 o'clock appointment with my primary care, and she looked at the schedule and said, no, that's next Thursday at 1 o'clock. Well, I was told it was today at 1 o'clock. Well, she'll go in and ask and see if they can fit me in today. They fit me in that day.
Oh, nice of them.
Oh.
Wow. It doesn't pay to be sick.
No, and it doesn't pay to recover either. So those were the adventures I've been having lately. So, once again, a reminder that we have 3 questions. Answer only one of them about the picture behind us, and you can have bragging rights, assuming you answer one of them correctly. You can have bragging rights for the next 2 weeks. I believe it's 2 weeks.
Probably, yeah. What was I going to say? Can't remember now.
All right,
Say
the
something.
three questions are: when was this photo taken? What was the occasion? And what occasion was being reenacted here?
I like the hats.
Yes. Now, if you visited my website before it was naughtily taken off the air, off the web, and obliterated, you should have at least one of those answers.
Oh.
Catch the cat, she swallowed the cat to catch the rat. She swallowed the rat to catch the spider that wiggled and jiggled and giggled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. She died of horse.
Where'd you learn that? Boy Scouts?
No, I remembered seeing it on TV.
TV. And Boy Scouts, we learned she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! Oh, we'll out to meet her when she comes. Hi, babe! Oh, we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Hi, babe! We'll all go out to meet her. Yes, we'll all go out to meet her. We'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Hi, babe! We will kill the old red rooster when she comes. Chop, chop! Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster when she comes. Chop, chop! We'll kill the old red rooster. Oh, we'll kill the old red rooster. We'll kill the old red rooster when she comes. Chop, chop! Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings. Oh, we'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. When I was in France with the army, one day I looked into my kit. I thought I would find me a sandwich, but the darn thing was all full of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Come on, shave every day and you'll always look keen. We're fine ones to talk. I went out jogging this morning. I like to keep physically fit. But when I took off my Adidas, the soles were all covered with shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look keen. And I only know one other verse. Our baby fell out of the window. You'd think that her head would be split. Ouch! But good luck was with her that morning, for she landed in 6 feet of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look keen. Well,
I guess we're going to have to just talk.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, no.
So, what medical adventures have you been having lately?
Let's see.
Try pulling the cable in now. Other than that, just talk.
Yeah. I love medical adventures.
Oh, do you? Good thing.
Yes.
I was afraid of them, that they're always going to screw up, that I'll go to the wrong place. You did. That I'll be there and it'll be
And
the
I
wrong day for
survived,
appointment,
just barely.
and they won't be kind to me like they were kind to you.
Well, you know, part of it is that I spent most of my adult life and from somewhere in elementary school on, chronically depressed.
Oh,
And when I was an adult, I finally got my head out of my patoot, and I spoke to my doctor and got put on paroxetine, which is an antidepressive. And since then, I want to enjoy myself wherever I go. So if I'm in the emergency room, I want to enjoy myself there.
live for the moment.
Yeah, if I get sent upstairs and I'm admitted to the hospital, I want to enjoy myself there. Several years ago, I had a really bad urinary tract infection, and I was delivered to the hospital, and the nurse who was working on me in the emergency room told me I was septic, which at the time meant absolutely nothing to me. And I went upstairs and I was in bed for 8 solid days. And I got a complete blood transfusion.
Wow.
Yeah, but I still wanted to enjoy myself. The first day, the nurse came in and asked me if I needed anything. And now this doesn't go under having a fun time, but I told her I could really use a hug. And once she finished what she was doing, she leaned over the bed and gave me a hug.
Oh.
And that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But other things that I could do to enjoy myself, the nurse comes in and is adjusting my IV. I'd reach up and say, tickle, tickle. Yeah, and I'd sing to them, and old songs.
You've got lots of songs. That's
Yeah.
good, yeah. Lucky you. I've tried to stay healthy. I've tried to, are you drinking enough water? What's giving you a urinary tract infection?
Well, that time it was E. coli had gotten into the bladder.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on this
Food
time.
poisoning or? Don't know.
No idea.
Oh.
But yeah, it took a long time to treat, and I was able to get out of the hospital to my brother's car.
Oh.
Yeah, the ambulance had brought me down to Pittsfield, so my brother had to come over and give me a ride home.
I had kidney stones, but I had the painless ones. I could pass them without any pain. Mm-hmm. But
Gee whiz.
what fun is that if you can't have?
That's
suffering and
right.
pain, right. And the doctor says, yeah, it's possible. And he knew some guy when he was in the Navy, he was a doctor in the Navy, that he passed. He said these huge stones and lots of them, and man never felt it. He said for some reason you have a big enough urethra or whatever so it slides right through.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's always good to have.
Yeah, so I can't.
Yeah, I was looking into having my stomach stapled. And one of the things they did was they had me go in at an ungodly hour of the morning to have a liver biopsy done. And what they do is they take a needle that's like this long, they knock you out and insert it here, and it goes down into the liver so they can take a little sample. They told me I needed more onions
Oh.
to go with my liver. So I was lying there. They started the anesthetic, and one of the nurses said, "You're going to start feeling sleepy." Okay. And a minute went by, and I was literally opening my mouth to ask, "When am I going to start feeling sleepy?" And got my mouth open, and I was in recovery.
Wow. Yep. You used to always have you come back from 100. I remember that when I've had an operation. And you don't get past 97 and you're gone. Yeah.
Now, when I had my second operation on my colon, making the one I'd already had permanent, the first operation that the plastic surgeon was in on didn't work. So Thanksgiving Eve, I was brought down to surgery and they redid it. And when I woke up in recovery, I think it was a doctor sitting at a desk to my left, and I was having this weird dream about watching a city being reduced to smoking rubble, and a voice said, "There, now you're a monument to war." And I woke up and I said, "Am I a monument to war?" No.
Well,
That was fun.
yeah, monument to war.
Well, of course, the things you see when you're asleep are just amazing.
True.
I had a dream once that, well, the thing is, on my property, we have the barn, we have a garage, and then there's a double garage next to that.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
And yeah, and the third garage has an extra bit of space to the right. And the dream that I had was it was hollow underneath the cement, and that extra bit of space was open, so you could go down there, go all the way over to the barn, and there's a trap door that you could go up. And it was so real that after I woke up, I went out and got in that third garage to look and see if there was a space there. Of course, there isn't.
But you wanted it to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I can never remember my dreams. I should, when I wake up, I sort of like have a knowledge of them, but I should write them down immediately because I can't recall them in the next minute.
And then, of course, there's the question of, is someone trying to tell you something?
Right.
Well, I had my cat, Cedric, for 14 years, and he had to be euthanized. And I buried him in the backyard because I did not want the vet to take him somewhere and bury him among strangers. You know, I wanted him home. And for 14 years, I dreamed about him frequently. And a friend of mine said, that's his way of telling you that he's still around and he still cares about you. Oh. Now, when he had been gone for 14 years, he spoke to me in a dream and told me that he was opting back into life, which of course suggests he was being reincarnated.
Right.
I have hardly ever dreamed of him since.
Wow. So he's probably making another little boy happy.
Or a
somewhere.
girl.
Or a girl. It's true, too.
He could be adding to the excess population, which is something he never did.
Did you have him spayed?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Actually, spaying is what you do to females.
Right. Neutered. Yes, that's right. Well,
And I remember another dream. I don't remember anything except this part. Someone said to me in a very reassuring tone, "You are merely caught up in the human phase of this existence." Wow.
well, yeah, that is bizarre.
Now, it might be
revelatory.
utter nonsense, but then again, who knows? It might not be.
Right.
So, I remember my first nightmare.
Wow, how can you remember this stuff? Yeah.
I don't know. My brain just works that way. I have a clear memory of being a baby, lying in my crib, sucking on my toes. And I seem to remember my mother leaning over the crib watching. And I have a vague memory, like a memory of riding in a baby carriage, the kind that's a crib on wheels.
Oh, those.
And I just have this vague image of looking up out through it. When I told my mother that I could remember that, she wondered if it was one particular time. My brother Mark, who was 3 when I was born, volunteered to push me around the backyard, and she thought, "Oh, what a wonderful idea." So she got out the baby carriage, put me in it, and went into the house. And after a while, she looked out the window to see how we were doing, and Mark was pushing me around the backyard, doing this with the handle.
Rocking the baby?
Yeah, she rushed out there to put a stop to it, and he said, "But he likes it." Fortunately, that's not the thing that I remember.
Oh.
I might well have been asleep during that.
And the only earliest memory I have, I can tell by dates, is walking up a flight of stairs in an apartment building in North Adams where my Aunt Helen lived. Because she told me what year that was, and couldn't have been more than 3 at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm amazed that that I have that memory of walking up that set of stairs.
Well, I think that maybe 3 years old is about the time you really start remembering things, committing them to memory deliberately. I don't commit things to memory deliberately, but I just remember all these weird things. I can remember things that my family doesn't remember.
And they don't question your veracity? They don't say,
No,
"Hey, you
no.
just dreamed this up." You have proof that what you remembered was correct? Can you prove it?
No, we were visiting someone in a big house surrounded by woods, and there was a road with a double yellow line, and across the road there was a little opening in the trees, and there was a lake. And I seem to remember my brother Ralph swimming in it. He had a pair of goggles that had a yellow lens on it. And I remember that. He doesn't ever remember having such a thing. And we were sitting at a picnic table not far from the house, and there was a train going by that we could see through the trees, and it had a blue caboose. And that struck me as wild because In all the books, you see, the caboose is always red. Well, of course, Boston and Maine, their colors were blue and white. So a blue caboose meant it was one of theirs.
So where was this thing you saw this train?
It was through the trees.
Through the trees, okay.
Now, I asked my mother about this, and described it as carefully as I could. She has no memory of it. Now, when my brother Ralph got married, his new in-laws invited us to their camp, I guess for a picnic, and my mother brought a bowl of cabbage salad. It's essentially as a form of coleslaw. And to her surprise, that was the only food we had. And I did not remember that until later. I did remember dimly going to, there was a cabin by the road somewhere. I don't know where.
Oh, memory. Well, I'm sorry we don't have pictures.
Well, we have the one that's behind us. Oh, good. She's doing it. She's putting it on. Thank you, Joanne. You still have just about 12 minutes, or is it 13? 13 minutes to give us a call at 664-4408 and see, boy, you are behind in the script, aren't you?
I am.
All right, and give us the answer to one of the three possible questions. What was this commemorating? When was it being commemorated? And what was the occasion for the commemoration? So actually, I'm going to give you until 5 minutes remaining, and we are at 12 minutes now. Oh, let me see here. What else can we remember? What do you remember about your father?
I can't think of anything.
Oh, come on. Was he a nice daddy?
He was.
Did he bounce you on his knee and then try to see how far your head could go into the ceiling?
No. I had, I was the youngest in the family, so I had older siblings, and the siblings were more part of my family than my father was. I can't think of anything.
Well, you inherited the business from him, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I was there. I liked the printing business, so it worked out well.
What do you remember about your mother?
This is like a therapy session, hey?
Yeah. Yeah. So, what can you tell me about your mother, huh?
And how did you feel about her?
Yeah. I had a dog here in the last session, and I asked him to tell me what he could tell me about his mother, and he said, "Oh, that bitch."
He didn't say it that way, though, did he? He said, "Oh,
Oh, yes,
that
yes.
bitch. She was that bitch."
Well, that is what a female dog is, you know.
Yes, right. I'm at a loss to talk about stuff like that. What do I remember? I guess, I can tell you this isn't a memory of anything, but I've just been restoring a pair of doorknobs in the apartment where my grandmother lived. I own the house that she lived in, and I'm pretty sure those doors were in L.L. Brown's mansion on Commercial Street. Because my father told me, here's something my father told me that he heard that that and two other doors in the house were salvaged from that mansion. Well, I had stumbled across a news article from 1923 where they were offering salvage. They were going to tear down the mansion, and they were tearing down the mansion to make room to build C.T. Plunkett Junior High. And so the house was built in 1924, so it makes sense that the time dates together, time, the date. And they're very beautiful, ornate, and they have stamped on the back, Russell and Irwin Manufacturing Company. And I looked them up, and they're in New Britain, Connecticut, and they made doorknobs for everybody. They made doorknobs for hospitals and institutions across the country, all with their names stamped in them. And some very ornate doorknobs, and this doorknob is very ornate. Molded. I'm not sure what the metal is. It's probably like it's bronzy, brassy, something like that. But they polish up really well. They look really nice. And the doors are they're double doors with they're tall and skinny, 30 inches wide by like 90 inches tall, and they got these beautiful frosted glass window in them. And two people have looked at them and said, "Oh, you could sell these for $10,000." I don't think so, but.
Now, you say your grandmother lives there now.
She did live there.
Oh, she did.
Her and my grandfather bought the house in 1941, 42, and moved there. It was a 3-tenement house, and they lived on the first floor. We lived on the second, and for a while, my cousin and uncle lived on the third floor. So.
Well, it's a shame that your grandmother isn't still living there, because what you could do is when winter comes and it's freezing cold, you could evict her.
Said Grandma. Actually, she left us. When she turned 70, my uncle out in Pennsylvania at the time, invited her to come live there. So she left and lived with him for about, 7 years or so, maybe not that long. And then she came back to Adams and then lived at the Columbia Valley housing place. Then she left there and went to Danbury, Connecticut, where my aunts were living, and spent time in a nursing home there.
Wow.
But now she came back and they put her up on Orchard Street.
Gee willikers. So is there anyone in your family that you can evict in the winter?
No, I can't.
Preferably someone aged,
No.
as in older than us.
I've evicted people, but they're younger than me, and they were, ne'er-do-wells. One of them was his mother was dying of cancer, and she was going to go live with her sister in Texas, but she had a son who was like 18, 19 years old. And she said, "Oh, can Johnny stay here if I move out?" And I couldn't say no to a woman dying of cancer. So I received rent like 1 month for 1 month.
Only if you move in with him so that I can evict you both come winter.
Yeah. But it took me a while, but I finally got the sheriff and did all the paperwork and the court stuff and gone through the court stuff. And he came in with a police officer and told him to leave. And I had the apartment, then I had to get rid of all the stuff. So.
Yeah, my mother had to evict someone, and largely it was her own fault. I had just gotten her a book for everything a landlord needs to know, and of course, and she had this couple about ready to move in, and I said to her, "Well, you're getting references, aren't you?" "Oh, let's just rent it and get it done with."
Oh, yeah,
well,
that's a mistake.
you're going to get a month's rent in advance, aren't you? "Oh, let's just rent it and get it done with." Well, these people never paid a dime in rent, filled the place up from floor to ceiling with all kinds of junk. When they left and were evicted, the only things in there that were worth anything were a washer and dryer.
Oh.
And
Look what time it is.
yeah, I see. And so when the sheriff came up to post the sign on the door, he took one look at it and said, "This place has been abandoned. You can do what you want." Yeah, and at the time, they were living in one of, well, they were living in a Section 8 apartment.
Oh.
All right. Well, as Gene was quick to point out, we are past time for you to call in. So the three questions are, what is being reenacted specifically? When was it being reenacted? And what was the occasion? Now, you wanted to take a guess. Go ahead.
I thought it had something to do with the Mohawk Trail had a festival of, oh God, I can't think of it now. It's going to blank.
Yes, a reenactment.
Yes.
That was part of the Mohawk Trail reenactment,
But I
which
don't know
was
if
not
that-
really a reenactment, except that they took little scenes from the history of the trail and reenacted them.
So it was probably like in the 1918, 1920, earlier?
Earlier.
Well, the Mohawk Trail was done in 1914, so it was in that year. That was the
Yes.
celebration, the opening of the Mohawk Trail. Okay.
All right, so now, what specific scene is being reenacted?
Let's see. Given the vintage of the material, the vintage of the clothing is something in the 1850s.
Earlier.
Really, it's 1700s.
No, not that early.
Is it something with Jeremiah Colgrove coming back?
Nope. Well, I will tell you what it
Okay,
was.
good.
It's in Nathaniel Hawthorne's
Oh.
American Journal. And one day he was on Main Street and a stagecoach came down the trail and stopped in North Adams. And this enormously fat woman was trying to get out and she couldn't do it. And there were several men helping her. Now, of course, the problem with this reenactment is the woman isn't fat enough, and she's obviously being helped down. The fat woman could not get out of the stagecoach.
How did she get in the first place? Well,
Good question. But that's the image that you saw there. So shame on you for not calling in and at least taking a wild guess. And it would have had to be a very wild guess. But as you can see, Eugene took a guess, took a couple of guesses, and he did very well. So you have, since you didn't get the third one, you're getting bragging rights for the next week.
oh, good. Only 1 week, not 2. Okay.
That's right. Well, make it a week and a half.
Oh, thank you. You're generous.
You're welcome. So, thank you all for watching the show and putting up with us and our nonsense. And we will see you in 2 weeks. That's the first Friday in June at 6 p.m. here on Northern Berkshire Community Television, or on YouTube or wherever you're watching us. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening.
Actually, we have 30